Hello one and all, I am back with another tutorial on OMSI 2. And this one will be how to create a basic map for those who are struggling. So what you'll do is you'll open OMSI 2, the editor. And yeah, we'll just wait for that to load up. So this will be one of, I think, 3 to 5 parts. I'm not sure yet, but in this part we'll talk about laying down a road network. And let's open the wrong one. Like I said, it'll talk about opening the road network and how to create hills out of the roads and such. Oh, I don't want those. And yeah, and some small tips and tricks when building a road network. And it'll go over crossings too. So we're gonna open OMSI 2 editor. This time should open the editor thing. What's this? Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay, now back to OMSI 2 editor. Oh wait, one more thing. What you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the template folder here below the spleens and copy this folder called new map. So copy it, paste into the maps folder, and then you can use your rename tool to rename it anything you want. So in this case, we'll just name it tutorial map. Whoops, I'll fix that. There. Now what you want to do is just change that like so. Oh my goodness. There. Okay. You can just leave that like that and the rest like it is. Because it'll figure itself out. Now, another thing is when you create a map is that the AI list config will not be set up in the OMSI 2 format, but it'll be set up in like this. And if you leave it like this, then it'll constantly spawn buses and I guess lag your map. So what you want to do is, what I would recommend is go to the Grendor folder, copy the AI list config file. Wait, let me just make sure. And then paste it into your map folder. So now you can see that it uses the normal cars and uses the buses from Grendorf and the train. So now you can open your tutorial, your work in progress map, and you'll just have the one tile like this. So let's go and add some more. So that we have a nice big square of open land to work with. I'm going for a 3x3 square here. I think that's 3x3. I don't care. So, now what you'll want to do is go to this spleens tab you see here, and you'll go to the default spleens are found in this folder here called Marcel, and you have a selection from a bunch of different sized spleens from 12 meters to 3 meters. And then you have multi-laned ones like this one. And to place down a spleen, you just press the N key. So you see, these can be found in Spandau, but they have lots of lanes like this one. This I believe has 10 lanes. But for this tutorial, we'll just go and use a simple one called Altoneer, I believe. And just looks like this, nothing too fancy. And you can change it if you want to, but that can be explained in a different tutorial, which will be made on request only. So, you've got your first spleen. Now what? What you'll want to do is, see this right here, where it says length? This allows you to change how long the spleen is, so like that. I'll just change it to 4, we'll make it 50 meters. Yeah. And then, if you press the N key, it'll add another section of 50 meter spleen. So, yeah. Now, what you'll want to do is go down to a folder called Cruise MC, and you want to look for anything that's related to the spleen Altoneer. So in this case, Ein Altoneer, actually this one, Borkumer, and there's one more, Sedan. Those are all like the same size as shown. And then there are some more larger ones that connect to bigger ones, like Seeberger Johannesser Strasse, I mean. My apologies. As you can see, that's actually the wrong width, but if you press the N key again, it'll take a basic 10 meter section, and if you attach it here, see, it connects all fine. So, what if you can't figure out what spleen this is? Well, you could do just a trial and error, which would probably be the best thing, but I'll just give you the answer. The spleen that fits with this is called Seeberger Strasse, and it's 11 meters wide. And this also can connect to a variety and has all the basic features. So now we'll get all to this other stuff. Okay, so we'll cover the basics first. Load means just to load a new spleen. Split means to split it into however length you want. Just fix that. These two, I know what the align to start object means. It means like if this wasn't aligned properly with a crossing, then you could align it properly like that. And this only works with most crossings. Some have issues, but you just learn to live with it. So that's what that does. Let's see what end object does. It probably does the same. Yeah, it does the same thing, except in the opposite direction. So let's just fix that again. No. Yeah. And if you want to know how I'm doing that, make those red arrows appear. If you press the control key, it allows the spleen to snap to the paths that are put on here, the crossing, like that. So now some more features. This basically controls the rotation. The radius affects how the spleen curves or turns. So let's just go for 60 right now. And the angle, or it's spelled in German, angel, that's how it's pronounced in English. Bleh. I can set this to 45 degrees, and it'll automatically enter in the values that it needs in order to be that, without you having to go through a painstaking process. And like so. So then, yeah. So we'll just keep it like that. And now, onto the gradient feature. So if you don't know what this is, this basically says to OMSI, oh, the gradient is, for example, 8. So the road will slowly rise up by 8%, I believe. Something like that. And you can make this as steep as you want to, but you should keep in mind that only certain buses will be able to make it up this. Like, for example, I would say that the Sotaro and the Solaris Urbino 12 can actually make it up this hill because of its sharpness. Whereas almost all buses can make that hill, you know? So that's what that does. And you should only use it for the end, unless, because then this will happen. You'll get this weird rise up at the end of the spleen. You don't want that, because when the bus hits it, it messes up the suspension and turns your bus off, essentially. So that's what that is. This you don't really need to touch, only when you use the complete tool, and I'll explain that. Yeah, but that just keeps it at a certain height. Can't start basically does this. It bends, well, yeah, more twist the spleen. So if you're curving it, then yeah. I personally wouldn't use that tool though. It's just weird. Unless you're making like a curve on a mountain or something. Okay, so we've covered everything. Let's see. Not really sure if the mirror tool does anything. Doesn't look like it. But align terrain has some issues too. But now to the complete tool. So let's just take our crossing that we put down earlier, and let's put way over here. And now say you have that, and you don't want to align the crossings because you had done it before and it was really a tedious task. So the complete tool makes that a lot easier by automatically connecting it for you. So it's done that for me, as you've seen. So that's what the complete tool is. And yeah. So let's just do that again. Yeah, there. So that's what it does. It just connects the two spleens. And sometimes it'll throw out errors, and you'll just have to make the spleens closer or bend them slightly with the tools that I showed you earlier. So I think that basically covers all the tools in the spleen section. Now onto terrain. Now say you have another spleen that has a gradient of, let's see, let's just rotate this. Let's just change that to 30 to make it really noticeable. So you have a spleen with a gradient of 30%. And you want it to look real, like as if it's going up a hill, not like this. Because I know it'll just look weird. A useful tool is clicking the Align to Objects or Spleens button. And if you double click a spleen, or a crossing in general, it'll automatically align the terrain to the spleen, so as if it looks like it's going up a hill. And this can work for almost anything. So yeah, it's another useful tool. And finally, the last one of this section is the Align to Spleen tool. So we're gonna go and select a new object. No, not there. We'll just get a light, like a lamp. A street lamp. We'll just select a random one from the DDR. And I'll use the control key to snap it to a certain point. And so it'll just be here. But what if you wanted to repeat every 50 meters or so without having, and if you had tried it and the rotation had gotten messed up. Well, a useful tool is attach the spleen tool, and it'll automatically attach it to the spleen if you hadn't caught on yet. So you can enter the distance in which each lamp will be far apart, so in this case 50 meters, and that'll go on for 1,000 meters. So I could have that going for 300 meters, and those lamps would repeat until 1,000 meters of the spleen has been created. And this can be done for almost, any lamp. So, yeah. I don't think the attach to object button does much. Only with certain objects it does that. So let's just get rid of that. So yeah, there's all of that. Now what does it mean? So that label means, like, for bus stops, when you want to label, want to say have, I don't know, Freddy Fazbear Street, you could write that in a label here. This gives you the X, Y, and Z locations of any given object. So you can manually edit that, so it could be there. And you can use the snap key so that it stays and there's no decimals afterwards. The Z key affects the height. The ROT key affects the rotation. And the pitch key, just rotates it like that. And the bang key rotates it that way. Not really sure what to call that. Up, down, whatever you want. There's this little grayed out box down here that says attach point number, and that also affects certain objects, like the bus stop poles. In this in the default map, there is little line cards that you may see, and that can be used with the attached point number, and if you enter a certain value, then it'll put it in a certain place. I'll just show that to you really quick. Let's just take this random one, and we'll name it Freddy Fazbear Street. Oh yeah, by the way, this key, the @ key, means a new line in OMSI. So you have that. I'm pretty sure I spelled that right, but it looks wrong. Okay, so see these where it says line plates? Attached to object. And that should, that should work. And so that'll just stay like that. And then you'll go back to that certain folder, and you'll just click anyone. So as long as it says line plate, click the attach to object button, and then click the bus stop twice. And so you'll have a variety of places to choose from, as long as it's in the attach point number. See, as I enter a different value, it moves to a different place. And this could be done for that too. So, like so, etc. Alright, so now I think we've covered everything. Oh yeah, one more tool. This one I wouldn't recommend to use. The auto rotate all. that'll just randomly rotate everything. Well, almost all the objects in your map. And you don't want to do that because that'll really mess up what you're working on. And unless you saved it, you'll have to re-rotate all those crossings and objects and such. So yeah, that'll be it for this part. And yeah. In the next part, I hope to cover traffic rules, tiles, and this stuff, all that stuff. Oh, I can explain this quickly. You can actually select any spline you want, for example, this one, and export it as an X file, see? And you can use it for creating crossings, in Blender. So yeah, that'll be really useful if you're a really good 3D modeler. And we can cover, no, we've already covered tracks and trips. The chrono will be covered eventually, but not in the next video. The debug tab will debug bugs, I don't know. This has to do with trains, but will not be covered in this video. Eventually though. But yeah, that'll be it for now. I hope this explained these two tabs well. If you have any questions, just post one in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But until then, and until the next part in the video, this has been PVTA 3307-3301. Thanks for watching.